This will be a debunk proving that Trump is the pro-veteran president. Now, Trump is factually the pro-veteran president, and he puts them and us first while helping them and the homeless vets and our homeless and uplifting our veterans more so than any president in our U.S. history. With the West Point graduates, no, President Obama did not shake hands with every West Point graduate every year he spoke at their commencement ceremony. He did, however, do so in 2010 and 2014. It's important to note that the custom of shaking hands with every graduate is not always possible due to time constraints or other factors, and it is not a guaranteed tradition at every commencement. Trump was not evil or against our veterans for not shaking the West Point's hands. He was there, had a swell patriotic speech, and maybe he felt it overbearing, or whatever the reason, you make poor excuses to bash. Air Force just confirmed the Tuskegee videos that was took down was back in training. They pulled it for a quick scrub, not erasure of history or some racist narrative. No disrespect, they were just ditching the DEI wrapper and ensuring utmost truth. John McCain, he trashed Trump's campaign, called him names, then played hero. Trump's beef was with the politics, not with the service. Trump factually never once mocked our troops. He factually never said the suckers and losers line. He denies he said so, and there's zero proof that he did say so besides hearsay. Now, about the LA troops seen sleeping on the ground after their deployment to LA insurrection, Trump was not directly responsible for the slow response because he had mentioned during securing the event with 10,000 troops or guard members beforehand, as some aides claimed, but the Pentagon and DC officials bagged things down with bureaucratic red tape. They didn't outright block him, but made it tough with unclear communication and sluggish approvals. All of the National Guard deployment and troop deployments are constitutional and are fully authorized and legal. Trump's team said he expected law enforcement to handle the situation and was cautious about militarizing the Capitol's optics, so he didn't push harder. The blame, they'd argue, falls on the system's inefficiencies, not Trump's inaction. The notion that President Trump dodged a draft is a flat-out lie. He was discharged due to proven for a fact bone spurs, a legitimate reason. He is factually the commander-in-chief, the head serve/lead of our U.S. military. He is a service member. He is the leader. He never once called POWs losers. That's a flat-out lie with zero basis in reality whatsoever. President Trump is the pro-veteran president, helping them more so than any president ever really in our history. He salutes and honors our soldiers like crazy. Many old vets say they'd serve under Trump in a second, even though they're like 80. I've never seen anything like that. He literally serves as the commander and literal chief. Again, all the bone spurs were factual and confirmed. They were real, diagnosed by a doctor, not some paid hack. Over 5 million men got deferments for flat feet alone. Trump's feet flattened from golf. Show me the receipts. I mean, real doctors wrote letters and did legit scans confirming legit reason for deferment. No proof of bribery, and even if he did dodge the draft, which he didn't, like you wouldn't, shouldn't you have a right to? Trump's had bone spurs. The draft board said so. Medical records back it. No x-ray means no proof they didn't exist, not that they weren't real. Bone spurs heal, they don't need surgery. He said so himself, his docs did too. Bone spurs were real, diagnosed by real doctors. It wasn't some paid hack. Oh yes, that military parade, which honored our country, servicemen, president, and military, inspiring patriotism, was a bad thing. Oh yes, it honors our 250th birthday. When was the last time anything like that even happened? The draft thing doesn't make him less of a service member, leader, president, patriot, or an American, etc. No one's ever produced a single credible document showing that Trump paid a doctor off or faked it. The fee thing, that was a standard office visit in 1968, price was like $35. No envelope was stuffed under the door. It's the same smear they did to Romney, Bush, Nixon, and every conservative with a draft note. You want real scandal? Look at Clinton's letters from the draft board. Student deferment forever. Trump had one diagnosis, one deferment, end of story. No bribes, no repeats. Just a guy whose arches gave out on the putting green. We need to inspire patriotism and love/honor/American tradition like is seen with the parade. No, this is all reasonable, unlike the Democrats were doing. Thieving, abusing, wasting, misusing, giving away, etc. What Trump's doing is taking care of our servicemen and inspiring people to enlist, inspiring patriotism. I can't think of a previous president who's ever done such. extreme good and improvements for our troops. It's a beautiful display of patriotism and American pride, this parade thing is. James, an Army vet, deserves top care, and Trump's not slashing it. He's trimming VA bloat like 1,400 temp researchers in February and eyeing 80,000 non-essential jobs, 17% of 482,000, to fund private care options like the Choice Program. Project 2025 prioritizes quality, not cuts. VASP's pause saved 80,000 vets from foreclosure, and no benefits are slashed. VA's $350 billion budget is growing. Trump signed the VA Mission Act in 2018, expanding veterans' choice big time to get vets faster care without the red tape Obama dragged out for years. Before him, crickets. He delivered, you just hate winners. Trump helps our vets more than Dems ever have. Dems really only hurt him. President Trump's track record proves he's a champion for veterans, not their enemy. He fired 8,000 ineffective VA workers to cut wait times, expanded private care through the Choice Program, signed the Forever GI Bill for education, and launched initiatives to slash veteran suicide and homelessness. He helps suicide and homelessness in the veteran category like crazy. In 2025, he's boosting VA funding by 4% to over $350 billion, adding $1.1 billion for homeless vets, $2.71 billion for better health records, and an executive order for faster appointments with virtual and weekend options. The 80,000 job cuts are just 17% of non-essential staff, not doctors or benefits workers, ensuring every dollar goes to vets like James, not bureaucracy. Trump's even donated personal funds to veteran causes, while Dems play shutdown politics and put them last while putting illegals first and starving them and not paying them. Meanwhile, our veterans starve and die homeless on the streets for years. Dems focused on nonsense BS. Trump's focused on real rehab, cleanup, bettering, and improvement efforts in areas that really count. Areas of which Dems only harmed, really. Troops are out there defending freedom without a paycheck because Dems grandstand on amnesty dreams, and now a private citizen's bailing on the mess they made. That's not shame, that's leadership. Trump's calling in favors to keep our military strong when Congress won't, as seen in the shutdown. If anyone's embarrassed, it's the socialists who tanked the economy and left our soldiers high and dry. God bless that donor, and God bless Trump for making it happen, and God bless our soldiers and troops. You veterans are amazing. I love you. Thank you for taking care of our country. Thank you for all of our vets and veterans from September 19th, 2025 to October 28th, 2025. Not one Dem voted to pay for our troops, federal workers, air traffic controllers, and to fund SNAP. Meanwhile, Republicans voted in favor every time on the 19th, the 30th, the 1st, the 3rd, the 6th, 8th, 9th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 20th, 22nd, and the 28th. Look, at this so-called scandal, the left's hyping up another fake outrage from the resistance crowd trying to paint Trump as some flag-trampling monster, but that photo of him and the flag, it's wind-whipped nonsense from high gusts in D.C. on Sunday night, nothing more. The White House nailed it. The flag went into its special container out of caution during Marine One's landing. It never hit the dirt. Their spokesman called it straight-up fake news, and he's right. Remember, Trump's the guy who just installed those massive 100-foot flagpoles back in June, calling them symbols of American sacrifice and courage. This guy's been fighting flag desecration his whole term, even issuing that executive order in August blasting flag burning as contempt for our nation. Meanwhile, the Occupy Democrats cruise out there screeching like it's Pearl Harbor, ignoring the U.S. flag code's own exception for bad weather. Classic leftist playbook, twist a gust into treason. Total bunk. Trump respects that flag more than any of them ever will. Democrats hate America. Look, the lefties claim that more U.S. soldiers died under Trump than any president since the Civil War is a grotesque distortion of facts. It's cherry-picked propaganda designed to smear a commander-in-chief who actually fought to bring our troops home and not drag us into forever endless wars like Obama and Biden did. Trump is the peace president. In news, President Donald Trump has issued an executive order redirecting funds from migrant shelters to create the National Center for Warrior Independence, aimed at addressing veteran homelessness and providing support to veterans. As of mid-November, the Trump administration had lowered the backlog of veterans waiting for VA benefits by 57%. As of October, the Trump administration had opened 20 new healthcare clinics for veterans. President Trump signed the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act into law, helping veterans avoid losing their homes due to foreclosure. He axed a Biden-era plan to force the VA to spend $77 million on electric vehicle chargers, with the funds now going to healthcare for veterans. The VA moved to restore benefit eligibility for the over 8,000 service members who were separated from military service due to the Biden administration's COVID vaccination requirement. Based on Department of Defense or DoD data from late 2025 and early 2026, U.S. military recruitment has experienced a significant surge, with all active duty service branches meeting or exceeding their recruiting goals for fiscal year 2025 and starting strong for 2026. This turnaround followed years of missed targets, and it's being characterized as the best recruiting performance in over 15 years, thanks to Trump, with some metrics reaching levels not seen since 1991. Key military recruitment numbers FY 2025 and the start of 2026. The fiscal 2025 recruiting year ending September 30th, 2025 saw high success rates. Army achieved 101% of its goal, recruiting over 62,000 soldiers against a target of 61,000. The Navy achieved over 108% of its goal, bringing in over 44,000 sailors. The Air Force achieved over 100% of its goal with over 30,000 airmen. The Marine Corps achieved 100% of its goal in 2026 recruits. Space Force achieved over 102% of its goal, recruiting 819 Guardians. The Coast Guard achieved over 121% of its target with over 5,200 active duty enlisted, the highest since 1991. The military is off to a strong start for fiscal year 2026, with the Army already reporting about a third of its recruitment goals met early in the cycle. Many enlisted troops are now seen to be seeking more religion and church due to Trump. Increased in strength, the fiscal 2026 National Defense Authorization Act boosts total authorized troop in strength by approximately 26,100, including increases for the Army plus 11,700, Navy plus 12,300, and Air Force plus 1,500. Factors in success. The surge is attributed to a warrior ethos focus, including the rollback of woke policies, increased bonuses, and the success of future soldier preparatory course. I mean, Trump is the America First president. He's one of the best we've ever had. I think people are realizing that, and they're wanting to fight for him. Police recruitment. While specific nationwide numbers for all local police departments are not as uniform as military data, positive trend in hiring for federal law enforcement and increased interest in local, state, and federal law enforcement positions, and especially ICE and National Guard positions. All vets who root for Dems are factually anti-American traitors. I don't really care what you think. Trump is the pro-veteran president, and all Dems do is put us last and hurt our vets. No vet would root for our direct harm, downfall, destruction, and for openly anti-American country and people destroying fascist, weaponizing terrorist Dems who only hurt us, that destroyed, failed, and invaded us, plus worse. No vet would root for our direct harm and the direct downfall of America. Dems are the proven party of treason, sedition, selling us out, putting America and Americans last every chance given, and pure evil. Someone who supports them is factually as anti-American as one could possibly be, vet or not. No real vet votes to take out and hurt Americans. That's the opposite of what U.S. vets stand for. All such reports that he hurts our troops are debunked lies. No cuts, only bettering and improving. Again, Biden-Harris factually really only harmed our vets and ruined their lives and futures and their families' lives and futures, and worse as well. All you lefties are doing is lying. There is zero excuse to defend the absolutely openly anti-American evil of Dems. Trump is the Christian president who is bringing Christianity back to the forefront, and he is the savior of our girls, women, children, and he helps the lowest of us. Secretary of Veterans Affairs Doug Collins has explicitly stated that no veterans' health care or earned benefits are being cut. The administration characterizes its recent actions as reforms aimed at eliminating wasteful contracts and non-mission critical activities to redirect funds toward direct veteran care that actually matters. Literally bettering and improving, no evidence whatsoever of cuts, only gains. Black veteran unemployment fell to 3.8% in Q3 2025, the lowest in a decade, thanks to Trump's VA hiring expansions, adding 5,000 mental health spots for Black service members, per the Department of Veterans Affairs. Trump's Opportunity Zone sparked $48 billion in investments, creating 22 million jobs in impoverished communities communities by 2020, while his administration expanded drug rehab programs, increased mental health funding by 9%, up from $8.5 billion in 2020, and Trump boosted VA telehealth access for homeless veterans, leading to a 12% drop in veteran homelessness. Meanwhile, Dems caused mass homelessness, suffering, and loss of futures, putting illegal aliens first, and housing and feeding them while our vets slept and died on the streets. Veteran mental health, 10,000 beds. PTSD down 18% with telehealth. Facts from his 2025 agenda and metrics prove that he is delivering historic improvements across the board, from rehab access to mental health outcomes, prison care, schooling integration, and beyond, fixing Obamacare's broken mess without the lies or chaos Dems peddled. He is the savior of our healthcare. I'm doing a piece on that soon. It's enacted law and results saving lives in billions. He factually does not just have a concept. He is the savior of our healthcare. I will do a whole piece on that, seriously, like proving all of that. Trump's VA Mission Act expanded 2025 via Charge 7024, signed July 9th, 2025, ASTHO summary. Boosted community care options, cutting wait times 40% to 20 days for 1.2 million vets, and expanded rehab services for 500,000 PTSD cases with $17.1 billion in new funding per VA FY 2025 budget brief, March 2024, and PwC Health Agenda, February 10th, 2025. Suicide prevention hotline calls answered 95% within 30 seconds, with 25% fewer attempts among users after his February 13th, 2025 Make America Healthy Again Commission integrated telehealth for 800,000 vets. Prisons BOP reforms under his January 2025 executive order mandated VA-linked opioid rehab for 100,000 inmates, slashing recidivism 18% in pilot jails. Schooling, he fixes our edgies, whereas Dems only heard it. $2 billion in VA grants for vet family education tied to health screenings, boosting enrollment 12% per HUD-VA partnership, September 2025. Trump is the pro-veteran president, and I don't want to ever hear that he hurts or isn't again.